Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the boxing circuit. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world taking in this video. That's one of the benefits of YouTube. We can go global. If this is the first time on the channel and you enjoy this video, if you could hit subscribe, I'd appreciate that. Likewise, if you're a returning viewer, what are you waiting for? Hit like, hit subscribe, hit notifications. You'll never miss another boxing circuit video again. So we'd appreciate all supporting, helping to grow the channel. I had to jump on this evening to do a video because, some hot news came out today. Conor Benn is the name on everybody's lips. So we did a video back in the last week because there was rumours that Conor Benn was due to return to the ring sooner rather than later. Well, today that was made official. Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, DAZN, etc. announcing that Conor Benn will return to the ring this Saturday. He's due to take on a Mexican opponent called Rodolfo Orozco. So I apologize if my pronunciation was incorrect there. But this guy's had 35 fights, 32 wins, 3 losses. He's actually never been stopped. So all of his losses have come via a decision. So perhaps could be a good durable opponent for Conor Benn this weekend. I think he's only in his mid-20s, this Rodolfo. So to rack up a record of 35 fights within sort of your mid-20s is quite impressive. So he does get busy. He does stay active, this guy. Highly unlikely that DAZN Matchroom will put Conor Benn in a risky fight for his return, having been out the ring for 18 months. So I don't expect this guy to win, but he might give Conor Benn the rounds that he so desperately needs as he looks to get his career back on track. So, in terms of a prediction, very much predicting a Conor Benn win. But that's not really why we jumped on to do this video, because the main question that people are asking is, should Conor Benn be fighting this weekend? Is it a good look for Matchroom? Is it the right decision for Conor Benn and Matchroom and DAZN? That seems to be the big question. Before producing this video, did a little bit of research online. Wanted to get a feel for what people are saying. Who agrees with this fight, who doesn't, the reasons why they don't agree with it, and the reasons why people may agree with it. Obviously, it's divided opinion. You've got Conor Benn fans who can't wait to see him back. You've got the people in the middle who just don't really care and a bit exhausted by the whole situation. And then you've got the people on the other side who are dead against it, don't believe in it, and seemingly, no matter what Conor Benn says, they're just not prepared to believe him. So I really wanted to jump on this evening to give my view on it and my opinion as to whether I think he should be fighting this weekend or not. So it's not going to be a huge video because I'm not going to go through the timeline of events because we all know by now, he failed a couple of drug tests last year. The Chris Eubank Jr. fight was pulled. And since then, Conor's been, protesting his innocence. So again, I'm not going to go through that timeline because we all know what happened there. I'm more so just going to dive straight into the question of, should Conor Benn be fighting this weekend? Is it morally wrong? Is it ethically wrong? So I actually don't see why Conor Benn shouldn't fight this weekend. So, and I'm not even a huge Conor Benn fan. Anyone that knows me knows my view on Conor, but I don't see any reason why he shouldn't fight this weekend. Looking at the information that's available to us, and that's all we can do. Let's look at the facts, look at what's available to us, and make our decision based on that. So, as we know, Conor Benn took quite a while to start to follow the formal channels, and that was engaging with the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD to try to effectively have his case reviewed so they can come to some form of conclusion, agreement, settlement, etc. on his career moving forward. So he obviously was petitioning his innocence for quite a long time, but it was only over the past few months that he's actually really engaged with the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD. As we all know, Conor Benn disputes this. He doesn't know how it got in his body. He feels there's an innocent explanation for that. And over the past few months or over the past year, he's been building his case to effectively defend himself. So what's happened is you've got UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control on one side, and then you've got Conor Benn on the other side. And seemingly what's happened is, so obviously they disagree on the findings, how it happened, and the course of action moving forward. So what's happened is Conor Benn has disagreed with what UKAD and the Boxing Board of Control have said. So he's effectively taken his case to the National Anti-Doping Panel, the NADP. They are the United Kingdom's independent tribunal. So effectively, they are responsible for adjudicating anti-doping disputes in sport. So it's not exclusive to boxing. This could be any sport. So at the moment, you've got one side saying one thing and another side contesting that. So therefore, you have an independent panel in the middle who effectively, adjudicate that case, and then they provide an outcome. So that's what's happened here. So effectively, both sides have presented their case. UKAD, British Boxing Board of Control, one side, Conor Benn the other, and then the decision that's came down, or the ruling that's came down from the National Anti-Doping Panel, is that Conor Benn's suspension, which was put on him by UKAD, should be lifted, and that's currently where we sit at the moment. So, much like a court case, Deontay Wilder had one with Tyson Fury a couple of years ago when he was trying to enforce the third fight in their trilogy. Tyson Fury didn't want it. Deontay Wilder did. He obviously was successful in that. So when you've got two parties that don't agree on something, you have to have an independent body to try and help mediate that. And that's what the National Anti-Doping Panel does. So they are, it's worth noting, independent from UKAD. So they're not financed by UKAD. They're not financed by any boxing board of control. They're actually a government-funded panel who are effectively a neutral party. So they've heard the case and they've ruled that his ban should be lifted. Therefore, Conor Benn is cleared to fight. Now, he may not be cleared of any wrongdoing, i.e. UKAD have what they call strict liability. So that's effectively the athlete is responsible for whatever's in their system. So if they do pop hot on a drugs test, as part of one of UKAD's rules, it is that strict liability should be enforced, and therefore some form of penalty needs to be enforced on that particular athlete. Majority of the time, that results in a ban, but it can also result in monetary fines and certain violations. So it hasn't actually got to that stage yet because seemingly Conor Benn has won the battle so far. It is worth noting UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control are appealing that decision. There's still no word. They announced in August that they were going to appeal the decision. They have 21 days to do that. But again, we don't know where they're at the moment. So, that appeal could take 3 weeks. It could take 3 months. It could take 12 months. So whilst in the meantime, is Conor Benn meant to just sit and do nothing? Because as far as he's concerned, he's presented a strong enough case that an independent body has ruled that a suspension should be lifted and he should be free to resume his career. So it's not for him to prove his innocence further. I guess it's for UKAD and British Boxing Board of Control to win their appeal. Now, if they do win their appeal, then obviously it's a different ballgame because then a suspension will most likely be put back on Conor Benn, which restricts him to fight. But whilst he doesn't have any restrictions in place, there's absolutely no reason why he can't fight or why he shouldn't fight. So that's what I think. Until we get more information available to us, there's absolutely no reason why Conor Benn shouldn't fight this weekend. So it's a difficult one. Everyone's going to have their view on it. Some people, like I say, no matter what Conor Benn says, he's guilty. I am one of those where they are innocent until proven guilty. Conor is following the right channels now, and at the end of the day, he is cleared to fight. So what's he meant to do? Keep his career on hold? It is worth noting that UKAD and British Boxing Board of Control aren't always swift with these resolutions. Tyson Fury tested positive for drugs back in 2015. It took 2 years to come to a settlement on that. So that wasn't the ban was actually backdated. So we got a 2-year ban, but it was backdated to 2015. So effectively, while I was going through that process, a ban didn't come at the end. Just that whole process that he went through acted as his ban. Same with Canelo Alvarez, but that's obviously on the other side of the pond. You had Amir Khan last year testing positive for drug test following his fight with Kell Brook. That again wasn't released for a good year. So I'm not defending Conor Benn, but I am saying that there are certain cases where UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control don't always get it right, and they can be quite slow to a resolution. So I think in the meantime, Conor Benn's obviously doing what he feels is right for his career and for himself, which has obviously led to the fight this weekend. So divisive topic. That's what I think. So my view is, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to fight. Will I watch the fight? I'm not going to stay up to watch the fight because I'm obviously in the UK. The fight's taking place in the US. But I'm sure I'll check the highlights out the next day. So let me know what you think to my opinion. Great to hear yours. And I guess we'll do a recap next week after the fight, see how he looked, and see what people think. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you soon.